Protection is a strange word in spiritual work. When people ask whether semen retention protects more than a guardian angel, they are really asking, where should I anchor my safety? Inside my body or in a relationship with the unseen? It's a real question because both routes feel powerful, and both can also become superstitions if we don't look beneath the surface. Protection isn't only about staying safe from accidents or bad people. It's about reducing unnecessary leakage of life force, attention, and time, and increasing your capacity to move through the world cleanly. Semen retention manages a physical, psychic resource. Guardian angel protection speaks to alliance with a benevolent intelligence. Framing them as rivals is tempting, but the verses opens an inquiry, not a fight. Think of two metaphors. Retention is a fortress. It stockpiles resources, controls entrances, and limits exits. An angel functions like an escort, a scout who reads the terrain, negotiates crossings, and alerts you to ambushes. A fortress alone grows stale and paranoid. An escort without supplies is bravery without provisions. The tension calls for choreography, not a winner-take-all verdict. There is also the law of exchange. Every form of protection trades something. Retention trades immediate release for stored charge and leverage. Angelic reliance trades self-plotting for guidance and timing. Neither is free. Both impose constraints that can feel like friction when you are impatient and like lifelines when chaos rises. Knowing the price tag of each is part of wisdom. My thesis for this journey is simple. Retention is about sovereignty of energy. Guardian protection is about the ethics and direction of that energy. One keeps the power from leaking. The other helps you apply it true. The most mature path integrates them. Discipline that generates current, devotion that points it, and avoids reducing either to a spiritual vending machine. Semen retention is more than not doing X. It's an intentional reallocation of libido in the older, broader sense. Life drive, attention, appetite. In Ayurveda, this resembles ojas. In Taoism, refined jing. In depth psychology, the psychic fuel behind symbols and projects. Practically, it shifts your budget from high-frequency novelty to longer arcs of making, serving, and staying with what matters. Biologically, the story is nuanced. Short-term abstinence sometimes shows a transient bump in testosterone around a week, but long-term changes are inconsistent. More reliably, you're rewiring salience and reward, less novelty-seeking, more satisfactions in longer pursuits. The protective gain is attentional. You become less hijackable by images and impulses. That's a quieter kind of power, and it's very real. There is also a behavioral economics angle. A vow to retain is a commitment device, a chosen constraint that helps you steer your future self. By making leakage costly to your identity, you reduce the odds of impulsive spending of energy. But rigid vows can backfire into secrecy or shame. The art is firm commitment with elastic compassion, so pressure becomes propulsion, not explosion. Transmutation matters, but not as a magical bypass. Practices like breathwork, bandhas, or the microcosmic orbit can help circulate charge, yet the story you tell while doing them shapes the outcome. If the narrative is fear or disgust, the body hears it. If it is stewardship and creativity, the body also hears it. Channel into music, code, study, service, places where charge becomes culture. The protective signature of retention is coherence. When libido isn't fragmented, your presence feels less edible to predatory dynamics and your choices get less noisy. Yet bottled charge can become irritability, moralism, or covert power games. The question is not, did you retain? But did the retention make you more available to truth, kindness, and meaningful work?
Across traditions, the guardian isn't only a winged figure. The Fravashi of Zoroastrian lore, the Greek daimon, the Islamic Quran as a counterpoint, the Shekinah's protective presence, the Christian custodian. These all gesture toward an aspect of reality that is benevolent, precise, and relational. Angels don't erase choice, they amplify alignment and nudge timing. Phenomenologically, guardian protection often arrives as beneficial friction, a sudden delay that averts a worse outcome, a quiet, not that door, that makes sense 3 days later, a dream that rearranges your priorities. The line between guidance and pattern hunting is thin, but the smell of true guidance is coherence. It reduces noise downstream, not just adrenaline upstream. A psychological framing doesn't cancel mystery. You could say the guardian is a sophisticated model of your future integrated self, whispering back through intuition. You could also say consciousness isn't individually bounded, and benevolent intelligence meets you halfway. In practice, the posture that works is both and. Treat guidance as relational, test it as if it were internal, and stay humble either way. There are ethical limits to angelic help. Guardians align with truth, consent, and consequence. They don't co-sign shortcuts that avoid growth. They protect the soul's trajectory. They protect the soul's trajectory, not the ego's polished image. Many protections show up as exposures. The relationship ends before the deeper harm. The job falls through before a larger entanglement. Protection can sting. It rarely flatters. Protocol matters. Address your guidance clearly. Only that which is rooted in truth, love, and the highest good may advise and accompany me. Set boundaries for contact. Ask for clarity without urgency, for signs that don't violate others' freedom. Keep a log. What you track, you learn to recognize. Over time, you learn the texture of your guardian's yes, your fear's no, and your ego's sales pitch. Here's the under-discussed interaction. Retention changes the carrier wave. Guidance modulates the message. When you reduce leakage, the noise floor drops. Dreams sharpen. Synchronicity density increases, not because the world changed, but because your attention stops scattering. In that quiet, guardian signatures stand out. Small, specific, persistent. Not the flares of fantasy, but the thrum of alignment. Think of a sacred economy. Retention accrues charge. You spend it as attention on what guidance highlights. Offerings aren't superstitious transactions. They're the way you translate energy into devotion. Time in silence, an uncomfortable honesty, the withheld clapback, the chosen generosity. You will notice that the more you make these offerings, the more elegant your itinerary becomes. High charge increases sensitivity, and not all contact is angelic. Shadow material, projections, even trickster energies can get louder. A practical test is, does the voice respect consent? Does it reduce self-importance and increase compassion? Does it improve your ability to do today's next right action? If not, it's probably not your guardian. The angelic is austere and tender, not dramatic and invasive. Daily choreography grounds the synergy. Morning, vow retention for the day, explicitly offered to alignment rather than superiority. Midday, brief check-in. Where would you have me put my attention now? Evening, debrief, log patterns, thank protection you recognize. Over weeks, you'll see how often missed opportunities were reroutes, how often urges were weathered by a precisely timed interruption. This is how the verses dissolves. Retention guards the gates, keeps the resource compact and potent. The guardian chooses the path, where to carry the resource, when to rest, when to spend, when to risk. One without the other becomes caricature, a hoarder with no mission, or a pilgrim with no provisions. Together you become a steward who can move gracefully under pressure. How do you know retention is protective for you, not just performative? Don't make the day count an idol. Look for second-order effects: steadier mood, boredom tolerance, deeper focus on one meaningful project, less contempt for other people's choices. If you feel brittle, grandiose, or secretive, you've stored voltage without voltage governance. That's flammable, not protective.
Testing guidance is equally concrete. 3 heuristics serve well: clarity after sleep, consonance with your deepest values, and non-urgency. Guardians rarely weaponize countdowns. They prefer slow, persistent nudges that make room for consent. As you follow them, complexity simplifies. You need fewer rationalizations. Parasites and fantasies, by contrast, need adrenaline and spectacle to keep you hooked. Build yourself a 3x3 map. Energy high, medium, low. Guidance clear, murky, absent. Note what you did, ate, watched, prayed, and practiced before each quadrant. You'll quickly discover your conditions manual: when you need to move your body, when you need stillness, when you need to talk to a friend, when you need to bow your head. This is spiritual engineering, not superstition. Watch for red flags. Contempt for others' sexuality is a classic leak disguised as virtue. Transactional superstition: I retained 5 days, I deserve a miracle, breeds resentment. Grandiose invulnerability invites reckless tests. Isolation removes friction you need to stay human. Green flags look like playful discipline, generosity without scorekeeping, repair after lapses, and a quieter, kinder humor about yourself. Treat failures as telemetry. A relapse shows a stress point in your system: sleep debt, conflict avoidance, unprocessed grief, overexposure to novelty. A misguidance episode reveals your personal mirage: fear dressed as urgency, ego dressed as mission. When you annotate without shame, your guardian has better data to work with, and your retention becomes a laboratory rather than a courtroom. Try a 40-day angelic retention container. Day 1, make the vow aloud, tie it to service. I dedicate this charge to clarity, courage, and kindness. Days 2 through 10, build hygiene, consistent sleep, whole foods, sunlight, reduced novelty. Days 11 through 20, channel into one project only. Days 21 through 30, deepen prayer or meditation. Days 31 through 40, deliberate generosity. Spend stored charge in human warmth. Keep a daily triad: body, breath, brief. Body, 10 minutes of slow mobility, especially hips and spine, to dissipate pressure without dissociation. Breath, 6 rounds of slow box breathing with gentle pelvic floor awareness, transmuting charge without repression. Brief, 2 minutes of invocation, only benevolent, truthful guidance. Guard my attention, guide my application, ground my actions. Add a weekly truth audit. Ask, where did I barter integrity for stimulation? Replace one micro-leak each week with a repair. For example, an overdue apology, an honest boundary, or deleting an attention trap app. The protection you gain from one clean conversation often exceeds what you get from 10 days of white-knuckled abstinence. Truth clears static. Truth invites guardianship. Practice spiritual hygiene that fits your lineage or temperament. Before sleep, rinse feet in cold water or bathe with a pinch of salt. Name what you release. If you work ceremonially, perform a simple banishing, recite a psalm, chant a mantra,
or engage in deeker. Ask specifically for dream gatekeeping. Show me what's mine to see. Shield me from what confuses without teaching. Prepare a compassionate contingency plan. If you cross your line, don't torch the container. Pause the day count economy and make a small, meaningful restitution. Donate, clean a neglected corner, write a thank you note, tell the truth you dodged. Then restart at the next sunrise. Guardians respond to repair, not to theatrics. Your nervous system learns reliability, not perfectionism. Retention glows, and glows can intoxicate. You feel taller in your own bones, and that's good. But glow is not moral credit. Angelic contact can inflate you as well, especially if you treat guidance as a trump card in arguments. The antidote is service. Let your surplus energy pay someone else's toll. Mentor, volunteer, tip well, make introductions. Protection expands when it circulates.
Hold a sex-positive ethic. Retention is a strategy, not a dogma. It must sit with consent, affection, curiosity, and respect for diverse paths. Guardianship will not endorse contempt for partners or pornographers or anyone else. Contempt corrodes protection from the inside. If your purity requires dehumanizing others, it's not purity. It's armor around a wound that needs tending. If partnered, treat retention as a collaborative craft. Share cycles, name desires, negotiate periods of transmutation and periods of embrace. The point isn't to starve your relationship, it's to aim eros. Watch for the subtle protection that appears as increased trust, deeper presence, better boundaries with technology, and more honest turnings toward and away. All signs that the angelic is in the room. Remember the long arc. The telos of retention isn't permanent celibacy, it's sovereignty, the ability to aim erotic power without being aimed by it. The telos of angelic work isn't constant rescue, it's friendship with the good, becoming the kind of person who needs fewer signs because your life itself becomes an embodied sign. Over years, you'll notice you ask less and listen more. So let the verses become a vow. Keep your seed like a steward, not a miser. Seek your guardian like a mentor, not a bodyguard. Bind your discipline to your devotion, your voltage to your values. Then protection stops being a desperate question and becomes a way you move, less afraid of the world, more responsible to it, and increasingly aligned with a quiet, radiant courage.